the first Elastic User Group Meetup of 2016.
Woo!
Hi, Adron. Few announcements to kick off. The first is the tab at the bar is open and is on Elastic. So if you bought your own beer, I apologize. We'll get the next one, the next meetup, I promise. But if you need anything else, get a beer on their tab. They're very happy to buy you, or two, or three, or whatever.
Also about the food.
And the food. Get food off the table. If you don't have food on your table and you want some snacks or whatever, grab some. The other thing to talk about is Elasticon is coming up, which is the Elastic Conference. And I think Steve was going to talk about that a little bit.
Right now?
Go for it.
Yeah. So I'm Steve Mazak. I live here in Portland. I work for Elastic. I've been with Elastic for 2.5 years. And Elasticon is our big user conference. It's our second one. It's in February on the 17th and the 19th. And there's still spots open to register. Scott, are we out of discount codes?
Nope.
No, so we still have discount codes. If you want one, talk to that guy. And we're also doing a training right before the conference. So the day before, there's like a hands-on workshop. So if you want to get really deep, trained by the engineers who build the software, you can sign up for that the day early. And it's in this really cool location in San Francisco, here, away from downtown, kind of. It's really nice and fun. Yeah.
I vouch for that. I've been at it here. It's actually cool. You don't have to like smell the rest of San Francisco. That'd be awesome. The other thing that he was going to talk about is, this is going to shock everybody, I know, so hold on to your seat, but Elastic is hiring.
We are hiring. Anyone looking for work? All right, so we're hiring. If you go to our website, most of the positions are listed there. But we're hiring for engineering, consulting, support engineering. We run Elasticsearch as a service, so we're hiring site reliability engineers to run that thing every day. We're hiring solution architects, product managers, marketing people, and you name it. There's a lot of recs open. So if you're interested, talk to Michelle, who's over there. And I want her to get the referral bonus, so talk to her, and she will route you to the right department internally. Yeah. And it's an awesome company. We have employees in 23 different countries. We're very remote, very family-oriented culture. A lot of the meetings we do, people's kids are on their laps on the video. Not a big deal. That's how we operate. No swearing. Yeah. No swearing once in a while. There's kids, no swearing.
Yeah. Cool. The other thing, if you know anyone or want to hear about a particular topic, we're going to have a CFP for this user group that's going to be ongoing. So if you use Elastic, or you use Beats, or you use Kibana and you're like a dashboard wizard, talk to me, talk to Michelle, and let us know. Because we're looking for people to come speak and tell about their story and their company and how they're using the products. And also, even if it diverges a little bit and you want to come in and talk about like a distributed data store and how you're using Logstash or whatever, kind of the mix and match of things, let us know. We'd love to have you come in and talk. The other thing is, make sure you RSVP for March. We already have Ward Cunningham and Jason Clark coming from New Relic to talk about the new thing that they're doing with Elastic. I don't even know exactly what it was. When I was talking to them to get them to come in to talk, they couldn't even tell me everything exactly of what it was because I think they weren't entirely done with it. So they're going to be coming in. That sounds super exciting and very interesting. If anybody doesn't know who, does everybody know who New Relic is? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, they deal with lots of data, I'll say. I think that's a decent way to explain it.
Is that one posted on the site already?
It is. It's up there.
Okay.
So I've set up the meetup as a recurring meetup for the, shoot, what's today? Monday? Right? Repeating the last Monday of the month, I believe is the logic that I used on meetup.org. So that's the plan at this point. I don't think we'll have to diverge from that. So that way you can put it on your calendar and know when the meetups are going to occur. We have March scheduled We don't have anyone coming to speak in February yet, so if you know anybody, send them my way and we'll get all coordinated and make sure February is awesome. And of course, I'm working in the shadows, attempting to find people too, so feel free to ping me. Otherwise, he'll come talk. He's like, what?
About what? I don't know.
Yeah. Sure. So that's the main announcements. Anything else anybody want to mention real quick? Any announcements, thoughts, notions? No? Okay, cool. I think I covered all the bases. If I forgot anything, let me know at any moment. I'm Adron. You can find me on the internet pretty much at Adron anywhere. GitHub, Twitter, Instagram. That's about it. Those are the only places worthwhile paying attention to anything I do. Got those things. Cool. Who has or is using or plans to use Elastic Search? All right, so a few people have been using it. Who uses Kibana reporting dashboard? Yeah. Cool. And has anybody used Beats?
What's okay. Beat?
Usually like 4.4, 4.8, something like that. You count it off or nothing. Anyway.
They're so expensive that I hear the audio quality.
Yeah. Matter of fact, when I first saw the Beats introduction at the ElasticCon tour that they were doing in Seattle, I wrote on there, I said, Beats, not the lousy ones you shouldn't buy, other things. And then I sent links to like where half the internet has complained about Beats headphones. So if you have them, you should go get your money back and get headphones that actually play all the sounds. But that's a different story. So Beats. That too. I forgot about that. So if you've been using Beats, this is mostly just a high-level introductory review of what it is, what you can do with it, and some cool reporting capabilities from the data that it collects. And then we'll talk a little bit about the community and how you can build your own beats for specific things that you want. So, and that's the cool logo. It's breathing the bubble of cellular growth that is Elastic. So it was released in November. However, it's kind of birthed from a company called PacketBeats that Elastic acquired, merged, something. One of those businessy things happened, and they became one. There you go. They hired the developers. Always an awesome thing to do. Hire awesome developers. And anyway, they worked on these products, and then kind of the V1 of the Beats solutions were released in November. And I think it was the 24th. I saw that date somewhere. I just put a question mark about it, but I know it was in November. So Beats are basically data shippers that you put on your instances, your servers, whatever you can or want to put on them. And then they're very lightweight, just like a little bitty service running on whatever, Windows, Linux. You can even put them on OS 10, which would be an interesting dynamic, see what people are doing on their OS 10 laptops. And it feeds in the operational data to a central location. Some of the data can be enriched because architecturally speaking, Beats feeds in this data, and the two core ways, or the two core places that you feed in this data is either straight into Elastic, you just do whatever you want to with it at that point, or you can send it to Logstash, which will then feed it over, and then you can enrich it and do various things with Logstash. So there's the diagram that basically shows the key two ways that you would utilize your Beats. The 3 Beats that were released originally, or first I should say, that Elastic supports, I guess that's a legitimate way to say it, is Elastic supports these 3 official projects that are Beats. One is Top Beats, which are kind of the standard things you think of whenever you think of a computing server or device: compute, memory, and storage, right? A lot of metrics from that perspective. Then there's FileBeat. So it is the ongoing continuation of what was log stash order. Log stash order, can't say that word, is kind of sort of pretty much deprecated at this point. And file beat is the new beat that takes its place and is used to monitor file I/O, things like that. Then the third one, which is one that has a lot of power, is packet beat. It basically monitors all of your actual network traffic, I/O coming in and out. It'll monitor the I/O on like MySQL, Postgres, whatever you have on the machine. You give it the port and whatever it's going to communicate on, and it's going to monitor all that traffic going in and out. So you need a lot of metrics from this. One of the big things about this is the community. So even though there's three that Elastic had put together and are officially supported, and they're kind of like the ones you want to install out of the box the minute you start tracking anything. There's Apache Beat and Docker Beat. I mean, I don't think many people use Docker at all, but it seems like it's popular online. Right. I don't use Docker either. What are you talking about? So and also there's, I made an effort to make this slide deck useful, so I actually have links in it, which I will distribute out to the meetup group. There's the developer's guide, which actually will show you how to kickstart your own beat. So one of the things that's kind of cool about beats, and another thing that I know is definitely very popular in Portland, it's written in Go, or Golang, whatever you want to call it. So, awesome fad language.
Totally a flash in the pan.
Yeah, totally a flash in the pan, just like the internet. So the guide gives you a good quick start on how to go get the core repo, what to look at, and the core architectural guideline of how to build a beat. So you can start feeding in your own data for whatever you have. Like if you're running Nginx, I think someone's already kind of gotten that one, put hooks into it. But something like Nginx or whatever out there on the network, or if it's just a service, you go build your own beat. It's relatively straightforward. And then you wire it in there and get stuff feeding into Elastic or Logstash. Oops. There we go. So that's my slide deck at this point. Any questions about what beats are? Sound weird, useful? Yeah?
I think I'm being a little dumb. But,
Go for it.
But when I was sort of my general idea was that like normally like with Logstash you have it's stuff to like listen to a bunch of like sources or different file formats or different logs, or like different logs and stuff like that, and it would just be shipping stuff off to Elasticsearch. So how is this different? Is it more just like a live?
I think now mind you, I've been an Elastic user for 2 months. Hope there's no injuries going on there. So I haven't used Logstash extensively. I just kind of sort of know what it does, and it sounds very similar to me too. And in the sense of like FileBeat, which is just the extension of the Logstash order, it sounds like that architecture has been taken and kind of simplified and added to these with the premise that these are very lightweight client services that sit out there and just feed the data in. It's very similar to like say Nagios monitoring, where you have a core server and then you put these client things out here everywhere and it just feeds whatever it is that it feeds into the central server and then you collect it. Except these are coordinated in Nagios is like complete chaos. But no, I think you're right. I think that's a good notion of what is going on.
So to extend on that,
Yeah.
Yes, I saw Logstash as forwarding log files. Several of those beats seem focused on metrics, and time series data and aggregations didn't seem to be the data format that Elasticsearch was kind of created for. And there's several other databases that are being used for that. There's Prometheus, there's whatever people usually use under Graphite. I can't remember the name of it. Is that a efficient, effective Elasticsearch use?
Again,
I mean,
couching
I know I'm in a hostile room to Elasticsearch here.
yeah. Couching this with the fact that I've been using Elastic for like 2 months. I had some of those thoughts also, because it is a lot of time series stuff, and a lot of it's just like, you don't always want, well, sometimes you don't even want time series stuff. There's a lot of divergence of what kind of data you're looking at. And the slicing is a little weird. But so far, what I have done with it and what I have seen it do, it has been very, very, very efficient at doing it. So I don't have any complaints. And I haven't felt the need to go, oh, I want to go stick it in whatever database so it comes out faster. It feeds in. I haven't seen any oddities like with the network feeds of these clients coming in, and I have like 80 servers right now feeding in data to this central Elasticsearch cluster, and there hasn't been any like weird fluctuations or acting like a DOS or something like that. And on the reporting side, I haven't done a ton of reporting, mainly because I'm by no means a Kibana professional, but I've gotten some charts to show up, and I've seen some like geo stuff going on, and it's pretty effective at pulling it out. It's a pretty responsive interface for that. And I'm going to show you one in just a second. And honestly, I've been kind of impressed by that, because like I've tried it with other systems where it's just straight key value or something like that, and I'm going, I'm mixing like graph and time series and stuff, but it's all in key value. That's going to break. And it would, and then I'd have to fight with it. But so far, it's been solid. I haven't had an urge to go dumping into something else. So hopefully it'll stay that way, right? So one of the things, Elastic, of course, does their Elastic as a service. I haven't used that yet. Definitely something that I want to dig into, see what it's like, see what capabilities are there. I've mostly been using Elastic with beats feeding in and learning quickly how to pull together reports and create dashboards in Kibana so I can get insight into what's going on my network and what's going on with my servers, so that when things are magically falling over, I can figure it out. Oh, did they sleep? That's cool. So that's basically what my use case has been so far with beats and with Elastic. I will add that I'm feeding it into an Elastic cluster that is also utilized by the company to do many, 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 many other things. So it's actually providing me beats reports while it's doing the other important stuff, like actually making money at the same time. So that's a big plus. One of the things that I have done, and this is a little demo that I wanted to show everybody. This is AWS. Who uses AWS? Anybody? Like at least 2 people, right? Okay. So right now, I have just a few pieces of collateral. I have 2 EC2 instances. And to be inclusive, I set up a Windows box and a Unix box there. Just simple micro instances. And I put the clients on there for top beat. I also put file beat on there. And I started to put packet beat on there. And I ran into a few little issues, and I'll talk about debugging here in just a minute, that I worked with. But I threw that together and then just put some stress testers on both of those boxes for Windows and Linux, and just let those boxes choke themselves until AWS scaled them back, because they're micro instances, and of course, after like a minute or 2 or something like that, AWS just basically practically kills your micro instances. You have to bounce up to the next instance level, but I didn't want to pay for that, so I just did these. Then the other thing, which is pretty cool, is AWS has the actual Elasticsearch service, which is an Elasticsearch cluster. And I have this one. Oh, look, it's yellow. I wonder what I did to it. Oh, wow, 240,000 documents. I set this up maybe like 4 hours ago. Yeah. So I'm just going to show you how easy this is. And Elasticsearch is generally pretty easy to set up wherever. It's like you get the file, you unzip it, and you run it, right? That's usually the steps. Oh, and install Java. I've not done that 400,000 times, and it's always kicked me in the face. You just give it a cluster name. You can pick your instance size. I'm going to be cheap and pick the micro instance. And then like 3 instances, EBS, next, set up policies. I'm just going to make it open access so everybody can send just all the data you want into this one. And I'll collect all your data for free. And that's it. That's how easy it is to set up an Elastic cluster, right? Now the other one I have already set up is the one that's collecting data, crashing code. And it shows some of the basic metrics here. Got a little bit of monitoring. So for some reason my cluster is yellow. Hopefully it's working anyway. But they do a pretty good job of showing this stuff. I feel like they just took Kibana default system top beach report and are probably running that there. What did I just move around? Messed up my computer. And then the access templates are they don't follow the exact AWS model of things. You can kind of do an account. You probably can't read that. You can do an IAM user, right? Or you can set up an account specifically for this. Or you can do it by IPs. But there isn't a way to do a security group like you would generally do in AWS to set IP ports and all those types of things. So that was a little weird whenever I first set this up. However, by default, they lock it down. And you don't go access it in the normal way on port 9200 or anything like that. You have to access it pretty much solely through HTTPS with 443, port 443. So that's not really a bad thing, but just to note, if you set up something in Elastic with this, it's kind of locked down to start with. So anyway, let's see if everything is. So it appears the cluster is working because this is just pulled off of their live right now. Yeah, I am not receiving data from someone. I don't know if I can on this screen. Yeah, sure, there we go. Yeah. It's just like a mobile page. Anyway, these are the blurbs of data coming in, as you can see. And this one came in, looks like, oh, well, it's UTC. So what's 301 on UTC? Is that within the last few minutes, maybe? I don't know. But it comes in a JSON blurb. This is top beats data. So it's collecting CPU, free memory, or memory in general, whether it's free, used, or whatever. Processes, storage, host name, things like that. And then I put together a few basic reports here. Like if I click this, oh, that's a horrible one. Hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. So this shows how many records are stored for which instance. Okay, here's my Windows instance and here's my Linux instance. The weird thing is, this is a thing I need to debug. I don't really know why they started within 10 minutes of each other. I don't know why the Linux has this many and the Windows machine has that many. Because it's default install of beats on both of them. I think something has happened to the Windows server. It might have crashed. But anyway, just a simple little report. You throw them together, and you get pretty decent data on the dashboard here. And this is my meager attempt to put together a dashboard. There we go. And I just have some basic charts and stuff that I've thrown together. Here, by hour, is the CPU levels. So it looks like I got a spike right here. That might be the time when I actually put the stress test on and made it about die. And I think this is the first stress test level where it actually went for a while. But I think AWS is curtailing my micro instances at this point, making sure that they stay not super usable. But one of the things that proves too is that these are definitely lightweight. If you had any heavy processes and you've run out of CPU capital on a micro instance, you are going to basically not see it do much of anything. But these are so lightweight, they're still sending data every few seconds. So that's kind of a good proof of concept in that regard right there. So that's just some of a really basic dashboard. Like I said, I'm no Kibana professional. But there is this really cool dashboard that Elastic has put together that shows data from PacketBeat and the other ones running right here. And this one's actually worth looking at. So that just basically ensured that I will never be hired to put together reports. One thing that you can kind of see, maybe, can you see the little orange specks on the map? No?
Not super good.
Yeah, not super good. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in and watch the reports. Oh, I killed it. Hold on, I think it's just an internet thing. Hold on. Oh. All right, who do we call it Elastic to get the thing put back up?
Hit the back button twice.
Hit the back button twice. I'm gonna try everything.
Command Shift R.
Control Shift, Command Shift R, all the buttons. So, like they say, live demos.
Is
Right?
is your time wrong? Changing from the last 15 minutes to longer on the upper right?
Upper right?
Go to the right, it says last 15 minutes.
Oh, and just see if I
Going to
can
the right.
see if I can do today. Maybe that'll work. And then auto refresh. Oh, there we go. You sir are a genius. Good job. So let's see here. I'm gonna click on today again. Or let's do last 15 minutes.
That's what you're on.
Yeah, wait, man, it disappeared again. Why did it disappear?
It's because you had really 15 minutes. That's what it is.
Oh, 2 hours. 12-hour day. 12 hours. Buttons, all the buttons. Ready to start. I had already started. I hit the dashboard. Have I unloaded the
Click on the
dashboard?
open folder down there on the right. Right there. Yeah. Just pick one of those. And then now change the time. Do like last day or something.
There we go. Oh, the map went away. Maybe today. Maybe. Oh, that's just the. You know what? Maybe if I just do.
Good, one job, Kibana.
Yeah, one shot. Yeah? No? Come on, show the map. The map is freaking awesome.
It's
It's good the time. It's just,
Do it?
you still got to change the time. Every time you refresh, you can still have to last 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it should just work. It's not working on my cell phone. I wonder if they're doing maintenance.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you what the map does when it works. So, all of the charts, which you saw break all at exactly the same time, the reason is because they actually updated based on where you're looking on the map. So it changes to limit the scope to the specific data centers, the little yellow dots, which I was pretending like, well, I was pointing out how small they were, but if you zoom in, it will show just certain ones. Like if you go to the US, there's I think 3 dots or 4 dots that show the data centers, and it narrows it down to just scope on those 4 data centers, and then all the charts update to the metrics on those 4 data centers, which is pretty sweet. And per your statement earlier, it does really well when it's up, updating that stuff. And they've been collecting a ton of data on this for ages. Maybe they ran out of drive space. That could be, right? That happens. But anyway, that is the cool report, the one that broke. But you can see a lot of good stuff here. MySQL methods being called over there in the top right. Errors on MySQL. Never expect errors on MySQL. It's an infallible database. And a lot of other good stuff. Oh, and look, you actually got SQL commands that are being executed. Here. So a lot of good stuff that you can collect from your beats. Get all sorts of insight into the state of your systems, the state of your network, the state of your reporting dashboard, obviously. It's good stuff. So that's what I have, a nice little short demo and use case of beats. And that's basically what I have. So thank you. Any questions, comments, thoughts?